Hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today I'm going to talk about, do you have what it takes to be a strategic thinker? So you know what? I saw this quote this morning by Walt Whitman. He said, curious, not judgmental. I think that gets to the heart of what strategic thinking is all about. Have you ever thought about that, about being strategic in your thinking? Strategic thinking is a skill in how we think, assess, view, solve problems, and it's how we create our future for ourselves and for others. And it's basically knowing that what you want to achieve and how to achieve it. And it's more about a bigger vision or seeing the whole picture. You know, I have a word on my dream board, intentional. And I think to me, strategic thinking is more intentional because you're not just doing stuff that needs to be done just because stuff needs to be done. You're looking at the big picture and you're seeing why you need to do it and what will get you to where you want to end up. Good morning, Sarah. Good to see you. So someone who thinks strategically is very open-minded and they're able to question and evaluate information. And that's strategic thinking can help you advance in your career. It can improve your business. It can make a real difference in your life if you can develop that strategic thinking. And it's not always easy though, because it's both a mindset and techniques, right? So the great thing is the mindset can be developed and the techniques can be learned. And so you can do this. You can become more of a strategic thinker. You know, strategic thinkers are able to see the big picture. They're able to identify the possible impact of what they need to do and what they are doing and how it will affect things. And then they set up a plan to get there, right? And oh, thank you, Sarah. Shared, she says. Awesome, thank you. So strategic thinkers have seven main qualities in common. So they have vision, they have perceptiveness, they have assertiveness, framework, flexibility, they have emotional balance, and they have patience. And so let's look at some of those in a little more detail. So they have the ability to think logically and creatively. There we go. Duh. Creatively, using both left and right sides of the brain. You know, I mean, some of us are left brain and some of us are right brained, but the more developed you are as a person, the more you're able to use both, right? So strategic thinkers can develop a clearly outlined and focused vision for their business or for their personal needs. They're able to create flexibility into their plans, but they create benchmarks to guide them and to make sure that they're on track. And then they're also those benchmarks, and when they reevaluate, they're able to recognize opportunities to revise their plans when they need to. Hi, Karen. Good morning. So strategic thinkers are aware and they're perceptive of themselves and what's around them. They recognize subtle external and internal clues that guide their direction, and they seize on opportunities for themselves or for their company or organization. You know, I've talked a lot about personal growth and personal development and a growth mindset in the past, right? And that's a big part of this because in order to see and recognize those clues, your mind needs to be open and receptive to seeing them. Good morning, Anitra. Good afternoon. Good to see you. So they listen, they hear, and they understand what other people say or what, they read, they observe, whatever they can to use as a guide. They often have aha moments while relaxing or doing other activities, things that aren't even related, right? Like sometimes I have mine in the shower, right? A lot. I seem to get them a lot in the shower. I don't know why, but hey, strategic thinkers are they have a clear definition of their objective and they develop an action plan that's broken down into tasks that have and then they have a list of specific needed resources or a specific timeline. So it's a goal and it's okay, what do I need to achieve it, these steps, and I'm going to do this first step by this date or by this time, right? And they have it all broken down because they know exactly what it's going to take to get to where they want to go. The best thinkers take time for themselves too, whether it's a retreat or a walk somewhere special to them, or relaxing, in the lobby of a historic hotel, or maybe in the backyard, or maybe just an afternoon alone with a blank sheet of paper or a document just for thinking, because I think that most successful people spend time every day just thinking, just letting their mind work, right? Because that's their best quality is their mind, right? Strategic thinkers are often lifelong learners. They learn from every experience put before them in every part of life. They are able to balance their immense amounts of creativity with a sense of honesty and realism about what can be achieved in the long term. So they often refer to themselves as realistic optimists, right? Because they know that if they can't figure out how to do something and they know what will work and what won't work, they'll find a way around it, or they'll find a way over it or through it or whatever. But sometimes they know what the limits are, and sometimes they know they need to change their plans. They need to change their dreams a little bit just to get around those limits, right? They're committed to and often seek advice or confide in and offer ideas for feedback from a coach or a mentor or a peer group, or from their friends. They're open to hearing advice and constructive criticism and all that, right? They're non-judgmental, and they don't allow themselves to be restricted by judging their own thoughts. That's pretty powerful. They let their thoughts go and they don't judge them, but then they evaluate them to determine if they're good or not, or if they're going to work for them for what they want it to work for or not, but they don't judge it as being good or bad, right? That's really powerful. So strategic thinkers are patient. They don't rush to conclusions. They understand that great ideas require time to develop into success in the future. They see a potential for how the world should be, and they take the steps to get there. They set up and they commit to deadlines. That's really powerful. That's like, because if you don't have a deadline, if you don't have a timeline on something, it's probably not going to get done, right? They're conscious of their own biases. So they sometimes know that, hey, I feel a certain way, but just because I feel that way doesn't mean that everybody else does. And I need to not allow that to get in the way of my thinking, my bias or my emotions to get in the way of what's real and what I'm thinking. That's really powerful. They're observant. They watch before forming a judgment. Anitra says, finding ways around things can be fun. Yeah, it can be. It can be. So strategic thinkers, they understand other people's intentions and desires and hopes, and they tend to make quick, informed decisions. They're not afraid to make that decision, and then they can adjust as necessary, right? They're good communicators, effectively communicating what they want and what they need through clear directions or orders. They respect the thoughts and desires of others. That's really important. It's like I said, even when your own biases, right? You know that how you feel might not necessarily be how everybody else feels, and so they respect that. They respect that other people might think differently than they do, or they respect that the other people's desires are just as important as their own. I love that, right? So they react calmly under pressure. So strategic thinkers have a high level of confidence and self-esteem. They know their weaknesses and they seek advice from others in those areas. And so they know they're not perfect. They don't have to be, right? They're flexible and they're totally okay with shifting gears if they need to and think about how things in more than one way. They develop skills that allow them to have a vision and to see where they want to go and to create a plan and implement the steps to get there. You can develop these skills to become a strategic thinker. But a lot of you probably already have many of them. You probably already are doing these, right? But learning how to think more strategically is going to help you build a business that's solid and much more likely to be successful. Or if you're in the workplace, it can help you to be a better employee, and it could put you in the running for that next promotion. If you can apply these strategic thinking principles to areas of your business or your career advancement or salary negotiations or relationship development or networking or all kinds of things, you can surely experience more personal and professional benefits, many of them. So, hey, now I'd love to hear from you. Do you consider yourself a strategic thinker? What kinds of things help you to think more strategically? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. So I want to thank Sarah and Karen and Anitra. I think that's it for being on with me today, and anyone else who might be live who just hasn't commented, and anyone who's watching the replay. I appreciate you. So go out there and have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.